Hey, how's it going, gun tubers, and welcome back to the channel. I know I told you I get a video up every Friday, but just got a lot going on, had a lot of things happening. Haven't had time to really get to the range and sit down and shoot and do editing. Got a couple videos here I thought I would get together this week. Actually, I'm shooting this one today. This day is the 12th, and it is about 10:50 actually. So thought I'd give you an update on my Polymer 80 modification. I won't say Polymer 80 build because what I actually did was modify my 20-year-old love, my Gen 2 2-pin Glock 19. I just wanted to bring up the more modern look. The old 2-pins don't have rail systems on them, and I had bought the M&P 2.0 with all that pretty machining, and the SIG with that pretty machining, and the red dot. And once you gotta, man, get out there and you start seeing some of the newer models, the older models start losing their attraction. So I just thought I'd bring this up because I do love this pistol. I love this pistol a lot. And for sentimental value, I didn't want to go out and go buy another Glock, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, just because I wanted to kind of keep the one that I had with the original serial number. You know how we get kind of like attached to things, right? So yeah, I thought I'd give you an update on it. The last time I did a video about this, it was about me doing the Polymer 80 build, or the Polymer 80 modification. And I had the original slide that I had only chrome plated, and I had hard chromed it, and did a little bit of laser etching on it. But since then, what I've done is, this was sitting in the safe, and I said, I'll start giving it that facelift, and start modifying it. And I had a couple modifications done to it, and I thought I'd walk you through them. And they weren't that expensive, and that was the crazy thing about it, was I didn't spend a lot to modify this pistol and bring it back up to date. I mean, the amount that I spent on it could have been, more than half of what a new gun would cost. But again, it was something that I do enjoy. I guess the what do you call it? The feeling of doing something yourself, or making your own thing. I do enjoy that. I could have bought one of these pre-modified, spent like $1,200, but I like getting stuff done myself and put my own touches on it. So let's get into what I did. You guys know about the Polymer 80 build. You probably see some other modifications on here, but let's start with the slide. Like I said, the slide was the original Gen 2 slide. What I did was I found out that a Gen 2 slide will fit on a Polymer 80 frame, and I used that. And what I did was I went through eBay at one point in time looking for custom parts or customization options, and eBay was allowing people to advertise slide modification or customization, but they stopped it since then. But I found a guy who did this whole slide for 150 bucks. I think it came out very nice for 150 bucks. There was the risk, I didn't know the guy. He wasn't like Lone Wolf or anything like that. He had a good rating, so I thought it was worth a chance. Sent it off to him, and he cut the serrations, he cut the windows or the details. I didn't want him to actually cut windows all the way through because I didn't want an open slide or a lightened slide. I just wanted some details put in it. He re-cerakoted it, he cut it for a red dot, and he capped it for 150 bucks. So that was a good deal. A new slide, just a blank aftermarket slide was probably gonna cost me about $199. So you got to reuse or repurpose my original slide. Looks pretty good. And only spent 150. Now there's one thing that I will do, because I don't like scratches on my pistols, and I don't like Cerakote. I don't know about Duracoat. I know a lot of people are getting their pistols Cerakoted, and that's like a service that's offered more often than Duracoating. But I've only had this for a couple weeks and only fired a few rounds to it, haven't holstered it, and I'm already getting some scratches in the finish. And I don't know if that's something that maybe from the way it was finished or if that's normal, but from what I understand, this finish will scratch. So I'm going to actually probably send this off for refinishing, like the original Glock slide. I think it's a nitride finish or a DLC finish. But before I do that, I didn't update the barrel. It's still got the original Gen 2 barrel in it, and it doesn't have that many rounds on this barrel. I haven't shot thousands and thousands of rounds to this gun. Some people put thousands of rounds through their guns in months. I mean, I may have 2,000 rounds to this gun. It's over 20 years old. But what I think I might do, I know a lot of guys talk about match barrels. I'm not in competition, and they talk about supported barrels. If you don't know what supported means, the original Glock barrel, this one, isn't fully supported, which means just about that much of the round sticks out of the back, right above the feed ramp. And people say that if you have a round fracture, or case fracture, that could shoot hot gases and potentially explosion down into the frame and cause the gun to explode. So I've shot thousands of rounds. I've never had a case explode on me. Not to say that doesn't happen. I know I don't reload, so maybe, you know, that's some reason why I've been lucky. But I don't know if I want to go out and buy a new $300 barrel. But what I might want to do is, since I'm going to have this sent out and refinished, a lot of the refinishing companies will offer a barrel and slide, or slide and barrel combination for like 50 or 60 bucks. So I'll probably take this to my guys that I know in machine shop and tell them, you know, put some more windows or cuts or details on it. Probably, you know, do some customization to it. Maybe even flute it and send it off with the slide to get it refinished. The second thing I did was, if I didn't mention it in the last video, by the way, I did put a new trigger spring set in this. It was all OEM parts, but I put more of a custom carry trigger spring in it to kind of lighten up that trigger pull, clean it up a little bit. But it was for carry, so it wasn't super light. It wasn't for like a race gun or something like that, or a match gun. So I had that done, and the major change in that was the 3.5 connector. And then I put what did I put, like 6-pound striker spring, 6-pound trigger spring, and a plunger striker safety spring. But it was all pretty much all OEM parts, except for that connector. It was another manufacturer's connector. I think I spent like 20 bucks on that, and I didn't want to change out the trigger itself. And the reason for that was because I had read so much about how modifying the stock Glock trigger could lead to legal ramifications, how it could lead to making the gun unsafe. And, you know, I just want this thing to be as safe as possible. So I stayed away from doing a lot of the, you know, they're not even expensive these days. There's a lot of competition out there. So I stayed away from doing a lot of the custom trigger jobs. And the reason for that, if you go, there's some videos on YouTube that'll show you a lot of the custom triggers, when they talk about it, taking out all of the take-up or reducing some of the take-up in the trigger. What it's doing is they're making the trigger so that it pulls forward on that trigger bar. So there's not much more movement for it to have to do when you pull the trigger. And what that does is that will disable almost all of the safety features in this Glock. Go look at some of the videos. I can't remember the one video, the guy who was showing you how he's showing how aftermarket triggers can make the gun unsafe. He has a cutout Glock slide, and you can see when he put the aftermarket trigger in, it like halfway pushes up on the striker safety, and it almost pulls the cruciform off of the drop safety in the back, and the little lever there in the trigger itself, it like rides. It's so short it rides on the notch in the frame itself, and all of that makes this gun extremely unsafe, and I wouldn't want to carry it. Maybe it'd be good for a range gun, but even at the range, something could happen. Somebody could knock it off the bench or something. I didn't want something that was dangerous, so I left the modification of the trigger alone. But I found this trigger on eBay again for 50 bucks. The thing that caught my eyes when I was looking for triggers, it popped. The first thing it said was works just like OEM trigger. It does not disable any safety features. So I bought it for 50 bucks. It's a nice aluminum, I don't know if I can get that any closer, but a nice aluminum flat face trigger. I had to replace the, well actually it's not a whole trigger, it was only the trigger shoe. I had to replace the OEM trigger shoe, but it was easy, you know, just kind of drill it out and push a roll pin into this one and fix it. But I got it from these guys, and it's decent work. I got it for 50 bucks. I usually don't endorse unless I believe in stuff. I don't do it for endorsements or stuff like that. And these guys don't know that I'm, you know, showing their trigger. I'm not trying to get you to click on any, what do they call those things? Promotion codes like most upgraders do on YouTube, which drives me freaking crazy. Hey, how do I get better accuracy? Okay, go out and buy this trigger from this guy and use my promo code. No, go out on the range, take the money, buy 1,000 rounds, and just, you know, learn how to shoot. But anyway, I got it from these guys. I got them off of, like I said, I got it off of eBay. 50 bucks shipped to my door. Got it from, like, I think Cali to where I live in like 2 days. Very, very nice trigger. Other than that, let's see what else I did modification wise. I put in, you know, I did put in the extended mag release, but I found that was annoying. It stuck out like an inch. I don't know how some of you guys use it. It literally stuck out an inch, and it was like, it stuck out so far that it was annoying because it felt like it was too long, and it looked like it was too long. I was like, why would I want to put this thing on? So I replaced that with a new OEM standard trip mag release. I didn't put a extended slider release because I like how that sits flat. Sometimes I will accidentally bump that and it won't let the slide lock back. So I wanted to sit flat as possible, and it still has the OEM takedown lever on it. So still a lot of stock parts on it. Still got my old 20-year-old Trijicon, barely glowing. I don't know if they glow anymore. It might glow a little bit. barely glowing night sights on it. And that's the only, I mean, that was one of the first modifications I did, like literally like 20 years ago. Took the plastic sights off and put some trichicons on it, and they freaking still glow. They kind of glow over after 20 years. You might be able to see they still glow a little bit. That's crazy. I wonder what happened if you broke that open and got some of that radiation, like it like freaking dropped in your house somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, but other than that, yeah, not a lot of other modifications. I do have this cut for a Burris Fast Fire 3. I bought the, like I said, I bought the M&P. I bought the P320 with the Romeo, and I really thought that I would like the red dot. I just got dragged into like the tactical. I guess everybody's putting RMRs on their Glocks, but what I found out was shooting the P320 with the red dot, I didn't like it. Yeah, it takes away from you actually practicing with the irons. You rely on a mechanical device, or not a mechanical, you rely on an electronic device that could potentially drop, break, or whatever. And then I know a lot of guys with their AR platforms aren't even putting sights, they're relying on like an EO Tech or something like that. That's just not me. I'm all about the iron sights. But I did get it cut for the Burris Fast Fire 3, so if I ever decide to drop one on, I can just pull this cap off and put it on there. I'm looking for one that's probably like secondhand, or I don't want to go out and spend. I think I've been looking between 198 or yeah, like it's like 198 to like 215. Amazon versus Cabela's, eBay, Amazon versus Cabela's. I'll pick one up secondhand just to have it in the safe, just in case I decide to, I want to play around with one later. But right now, I'm just gonna stick with the irons and keep it with the standard height. I do have a set of, because I thought I was going to use a red dot, a suppressor height sights on it, but again, it's still all pretty much stock configuration. Not really stock, but stock configuration. So hey, just want to give you an update on that. I still got another video that I got to edit and get up. I had some opportunity to go to the range and try something, maybe not new, but something I've never shot before, but it was something that I was thinking about purchasing, and I want to give you my my feeling about it after actually owning it, instead of going out and spending like what was it, $1,200 on it. So hey, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate all the new subscriptions. I see them all the time popping up on my my notifications for new subscribers for big ball shooting. I do want to give the giveaway. I did that with my original channel at Milestone Numbers or Milestone Subscriptions. I did a giveaway. I usually arrange them through Amazon, or since I'm an Amazon Prime member, I find something that's pretty cool. And right now I'm looking at tactical pens. Just got to find a vendor that's going to ship them from Amazon, and I can use my Amazon Prime to get them out. So since YouTube doesn't like giveaways on their channel, I don't want to, get violated or canceled. So I'm going to post any giveaways on my Instagram, which is Big Ball Vlogs, like my main channel. It's like same like Big Ball here, but Vlogs is VLOGS. And I also have a Patreon under Big Ball Vlogs, which I'll also post up any giveaway details for. So thanks again for subscribing, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'll get back to you soon. I'll talk to you later.